Well, hello world, welcome to my kitchen. I'm adjusting my little tripod here. Hold on. Let me get it to be up a little taller. Okay, so I am making a pie. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning here, but that's okay. It's a good time for making pie. I'm making pumpkin pie. This will be the first pumpkin pie I've made this year. Oh, I'm so excited. It is time, I think, well, because I decided it's time to make pumpkin pie. So I am going to first put in 2 eggs. Now, I almost make it like the recipe on the can. Almost. I noticed on this can, there's a new-fashioned pumpkin pie. Yeah, I've never made that. I'm not making no new-fashioned pumpkin pie. I'm making an old-fashioned pumpkin pie, but I do make one slight change. So the first thing I'm putting is 2 eggs. So here's one. 1 egg with a little shell. Oh, more shell. I'm having issues. Don't normally have this many issues with the shell. Come on. Out we go. There's 1 egg. And another. Okay. 2 eggs. I put that in first because then I can mix it. That thing over there, I get it out of my way. Okay, so here we go. Take my whisk. I like making a pumpkin pie because you don't need to get out your mixer. So simple. So I'm going to mix in the eggs. I'm going to add the pumpkin. And you just need 1 can of pumpkin. And this is not pumpkin pie filling. It's just regular pumpkin, and they are different. To use pumpkin pie filling, it already kind of has spices and stuff in it. But it's not quite the same. So get the plain pumpkin. There we go. There is our canned pumpkin. And I'm going to just put that here in my bowl. Again, you can pretty much find this recipe on the can. It's the, what do they call it on this one? Famous pumpkin pie, the classic pumpkin pie, it's a regular pumpkin pie. The only thing I do is I put a little bit less of milk in it than it says, and I didn't make that up. I actually saw somebody post that one time years ago asking, has anybody ever tried it with less milk in it, and that they had seen it somewhere. Uh-oh, and I'm splashing it everywhere. And that it actually makes it a little less runny. And I'm like, oh, no, I've not heard of that. So I decided to try it, and yeah, I like it better. Also fits in the pie better, in the crust better. So let's get all this out of here. We're almost there. Almost there. Here we go. I also slopped a little bit of it on my toe. So hold on a second here. Get the pumpkin off my toe. I don't know how I managed that. Alright, fill that with water so I can rinse that out. Okay, so then there's our pumpkin and our eggs. So let's mix those together. I made a pumpkin pie one time. I've probably said this before on live, but it's been a while. And I forgot to put the sugar in it. It was not very good. I don't recommend. Put the sugar in it. Do put the sugar in it. And here we go. Mix the eggs. I just think it's a little less sloppy if you go ahead and mix the liquid, the eggs and stuff in there first. And there we go. So then you're going to put in here 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Here we have 1, 2, 3/4 of a cup. This sugar is a little lumpy because when I bought this sugar, I just bought it Friday. But it was raining when I left the store. And when I went to put it in the car, everything just got totally drenched, including my flour bag and my sugar bag. So this sugar is a little bit dampened, but it'll dissolve, so it'll be fine. So I'm not throwing it away. So then I'm going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Let me get my measuring spoons here. Okay. Half a teaspoon of salt. Okay, there we go. Then we're going to have half a teaspoon of ground ginger. There's the ginger. Ow. Oof. Thumb is hurting. There we go. Half a teaspoon of ground ginger. And then we're going to have a teaspoon of cinnamon. Oh, I'm hurting myself doing this. Because my fingers hurt. Okay, there we go. Teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, the recipe also calls, this is something else I do. It calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, and my dad doesn't really like the cloves as much, but Mom and I do. So what I do is I add half the amount of cloves, and that way it's not like a whole lot of cloves in there. Let's see, is this the one that's half the amount, or is that the full amount? Oh, I actually have 1/8 of a teaspoon in here. So it's 1/8 of a teaspoon instead of a 1/4. So if you don't like it real dark and clovey tasting, just put half the amount in there. And then you get a little bit. Cloves are really strong. I like it with the full amount, but Dad prefers it without it. So like I say, you just do half the amount and then everybody's happy. Okay, so then we're going to mix that in. All this back up over here. Ow, pinching my fingers everywhere. Okay. Mix this in. Imagine my sugar's dissolved by now. Then you're going to use a can of evaporated milk. Now the recipe calls for the entire can, which you can put in, but I saw this years ago that it says if you only put in instead of putting 12 ounces, if you put 9 ounces, it's actually not as runny or as soft. It's a firmer custard, and I like it better. So you're going to leave out 3 ounces of this milk, which is 6 tablespoons. So put all of it except 6 tablespoons in there. Well, I may not put any of it in if this doesn't work. Come on. There we go. We're having a little fight here. Hold on. Me and the milk, but I'm winning. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of 6 tablespoons. That's 1 ounce. 2 ounces. So I'm going to pour off 3 ounces. I guess you can save it and do something else with it if you want to. But 9 ounces of milk. This is the condensed. Or not condensed. This is evaporated milk, not condensed. Condensed is the sweetened one. This is not sweetened. This is the one that's just milk they've evaporated. This is not the Eagle brand one. That we use for other stuff. Okay, let me clean out some of this mess over here I made with the milk. I made a big mess all over the sink with the milk. Hold on there. Okay, so let's go ahead and mix this up. Now you have to start real slow with this because it's super sloshy once you put the milk in here. Even with only, like this is like 3/4 of the amount of milk it calls for. It's still real sloshy at first. So then once you get this mixed, you're going to pour this into into an unbaked pie crust. Now I just get frozen pie crust, but I will tell you, I'm not real fond with making pies with a totally unbaked pie crust, because I've had too many pies turn out where the pie crust at the bottom did not get done, even if you turn the oven up and cook it, you know, like it tells you to, at a little higher temperature. That's supposed to get your crust done. I have still had too many pies that didn't, the pie crust is gooey on the bottom, and ugh, it just totally ruins it to me. It's just raw. So I always pre-bake pie crust a little bit. It's called blind baking. So I cover my edges, the top edges, because I don't really need those to pre-cook at all. I need the bottom to pre-cook. And I put the pie crust in after it's thawed. I put it in the oven for about 6 minutes on 400. And then I have a pie crust, so it's just, it doesn't brown at all, but it's just barely not raw. Just starts to form a little dryness on the surface of the crust. So then I know it's going to cook. So here's my pie crust that's been baked for 6 minutes. So what I had done is I had covered all of this part with foil, and I smushed it there a little bit, but it's fine. I covered it with foil so this doesn't brown at all. But see how it's not browned, but it's like dry a little. So I don't want burnt pie crust, but I would rather have it a little overbaked than underbaked. Underbaked is no good at all. So we're going to put this in here. And then you're going to bake this at 425 for 15 minutes. This is going to be really full. And then you are going to turn it down. See, and if it had more milk in here, it would be too much for this pie crust. This makes it, this is a deep dish pie crust. This gets it to fit in here better. So I'm going to bake it 15 minutes at 425, then turn it to 350 for 40 to 50 minutes till it's done. And when it's no longer liquidy in the center, it is done. So here we go. Takes a little while to bake pumpkin pie, and it will be so good. There we go. I love pumpkin pie. So do you like pumpkin? It is a little soupy when you put it in there, so I'm going to try to put it in there, not slosh it at all. That can be a little challenge when you're using one of these disposable pie pans. Can be quite a challenge. Okay, here we go. Very slowly and gently slide it in. There we go. I'm going to set it for 15 minutes. And there we go. That is my pumpkin pie recipe, and I will take a picture of it when it's done and let you know how it tastes. And it's going to be good. I'm going to serve it with whipped cream. Have a good night. Bye.